Still to come.
I didn't even know that this was going to happen this morning, so this is really neat. Kind of an added bonus.
The tourists who got more than they bargained for earlier today. Let's stay with the royal wedding now, and the police operation that's being described as turning Westminster Abbey into Fortress Westminster. Thousands of officers from the Met, many of them armed, will provide protection. But they'll be joined by some boys and girls in blue to provide that it isn't all a show of force. Ben Scotchbrook has more.
Royal Wedding Day doesn't mean a day off for everybody. In fact, it means no day off at all for the Metropolitan Police. 5,000 officers will be on duty on Friday, ensuring that it's remembered for the right reasons.
Enjoy yourselves, everyone. Bye-bye.
But even they won't be enough. London will need the help of the cadets. 300 in all from across London's Met boroughs, volunteering to direct the public, help disabled people, escort VIPs. What was your reaction when you were told you're going to be on duty for the royal wedding?
It's quite exciting, knowing that I'll be in such a high priority event like this.
Because not everyone was asked.
No, not at all. No, only over 16-year-olds are allowed to do it, and there was only 10 from each borough that are allowed.
When you get a reward like this, it's really something that makes you think, oh, like all the hard work has paid off.
And what are you actually going to be doing on the day?
My cadet unit's going to be just basically helping the tourists around, showing them how to get to Buckingham Palace, nearest toilets, that sort of thing.
Have you done some homework?
Kind of.
What's your grasp of the A to Z like?
Oh, don't even start with geography.
While PJ and Leanne hope one day to become full-time police officers, Nida Dyer wants to serve in a different way. A Hackney cadet now, she wants to become Hackney MP. And are you hoping on the day, when you're in perhaps Parliament Square, you might bump into some politicians?
Hopefully, yeah. Maybe learn a few tips.
But you're not allowed to talk to them, is that right?
Yeah, that's true. We have to solely focus on what we're doing.
They've told you can't actually ask for autographs, haven't they?
Yeah, we can't ask for anything.
And are you going to be allowed to take your camera along, or is that going to stay at home?
No, it's going to stay at home, unfortunately.
What about your family? Are they going to be coming up?
They're going to try to, yeah.
Yeah? To see you on duty rather than Prince Middleton. That's going to be their family picture, isn't it? Forget the prince and the princess, it's you. There will be plenty of photo opportunities on Friday. Have you all together? How about that? And even complete strangers want a snap of tomorrow's public servants on duty today. Ben Scotchbrook, London Tonight, on the Mall.
Lovely, the real stars of the royal wedding. Well, with 2 days to go, all eyes are also on Westminster Abbey. Phil Bales is there now. Look at the tents.
Well, this is the final build-up. It's all about to happen, and this is what it's all about. This is the people's wedding. They're in their tents there. The first time tents have been a welcome sight on the streets of Westminster for a while, but they're not going to budge. They want the final glimpse of the bride as she enters the Abbey there. And it's a great hit too for the world's press. This is pure British fun, and they're loving it. They're literally queuing up to interview these people in their tents. One poor guy's had a queue of TV and radio reporters outside his tent asking him the same question over and over again all day, and he's done it in great spirit. But there must be a limited number of ways that you can answer the question, what are you doing here on the streets? Back to you.
Phil, thank you. Well, teams of florists have also begun their work decorating Westminster Abbey. The trees are from a nursery in Middlesex. After the wedding, they'll be taken to Highgrove, the country home of the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall, to continue growing. The cuttings have come from the royal estates at Sandringham and Windsor. Finally tonight, the royal wedding that took place just as London was waking up. There was a full-scale rehearsal as dawn broke in the capital. Up to 1,000 members of our armed forces were involved in the dry run. Toby Sadler was there, as were some of the super keen spectators.
A small but determined crowd has set up camp by Westminster Abbey. Sleeping on the streets, a small price to pay for a front row seat to the wedding of the decade. And for the faithful, a preview of the main event thrown in for free.
I mean, has the rehearsal been something of a perk for you? So sort of prize bonus?
We certainly didn't expect this.
They've come from afar and got up early. Bernadette Christie is leading the charge from Canada.
Well, first we did the Union Jacks, and that took about 2 hours, and then I said, you don't have to do that for the rest. So then we went with the Maple Leafs.
For some, a night on the streets has taken its toll.
Well, I've got a cramp.
Oh no.
As you get older, you do get the cramp. But I'm here.
Is it any consolation that behind you, the mass ranks of the Royal Navy are lining up for this rehearsal?
Yeah, it's very good to hear it. It looks for real.
Tell me about the last big royal wedding you went to.
The one at Prince Charles and Diana, I went to St Paul's Cathedral. We were there for 4 days.
Oh wow, so this is easy by comparison.
Yes.
And soon there's a reward for all that waiting as the empty carriage that will carry the royal couple starts its journey. It wasn't just about practicing the route though. All of the armed forces taking part were expected to be on the right spot at exactly the right moment, and all timed to the second.
Front right, only!
With the rehearsal now in full swing, a cold night on the cobbles almost seems worth it for these super fans outside the Abbey.
I decided to do this last minute last night because I'm in from the States, and I met my tent neighbor next to me, and just got excited about it and went out and bought a tent and a sleeping bag, and it's not too bad.
I mean, what do you make of this? I mean, you got the horses just up here behind you.
It's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I can't believe I'm here, to be honest.
So you didn't camp out?
Oh God, no, I've literally got a bus here and arrived, that's it. Half an hour here, good cook breakfast and then on our way to work. Yeah, exactly.
Around 1,000 people took part in the rehearsal, which followed the wedding route to Buckingham Palace. Many of those have worked with Prince William. Next up, the royal couple are expected to have their own run-through in the Abbey, although the doors for that will be firmly closed. Toby Sadler, London Tonight, Westminster.